All right, guys, it is noon. First of all, I want to thank everybody who is here. It's going to be a little different. It's going to look like I'm distracted all the time, but I have to approve everybody that comes in the chat. So sorry about that. First and foremost, today's topic is syndicating, which might be like a foreign concept to a lot of you all, or might be something you're very familiar with. If so, please ask tons of cool questions, because that's how we keep these topics going. First of all, none of these opinions are KREIA's necessarily. It's our own personal opinion. So if we say anything that's a little weird, it's just how we feel personally. But let me introduce Lizzy Neutz. Liz was what, 5th place in Miss Kentucky in her first time?
I was 4th.
4th.
Yeah, sorry, 4th.
I don't want to. Sorry, but so she'll probably get it next once she's a little bit more seasoned. This is Chase.
Yep.
Chase Craddock. Chase is brother of 3, and he is Lizzy's boyfriend, and they.
Yes, my boyfriend.
And then we've got Luke Harwell, not Harwell, Luke Harwell. And Luke, is a local, a native who's lived here his whole life. He also syndicated as well. And now you guys all kind of work together, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's start. Luke, why don't you kick it off by just kind of explaining what syndicating is for the people that don't.
Okay. So pretty much in a nutshell, it's the way that I've kind of explained it in the past. It's almost like I kind of almost look at it like a lease option in the single family side of things, because what you're doing is taking well, maybe not this part's like the lease option, but so you're taking a piece of real estate, right? And you're raising capital for the purchase, down payment, rehab, and everything necessary to operate and manage and run and take down the property. And you're putting everybody that has the money together in the deal with people who have experience managing and operating deals. You all come together, form an entity, and everyone gets their payback from it based on their split. And so it's just a really cool way of, I guess, kind of maybe not a unique, but it's a nice way to take down big deals if you necessarily don't have the capital yourself, because you can align yourself with people who do and people that know what they're doing, as long as you can really find the deals. But as far as that lease option comparison goes, you get a syndication fee or an acquisitions fee on the front end, which is pretty cool. As soon as you close for raising all the capital and going through all that stuff, you get whatever you kind of negotiate in the deal, you get as a syndication fee. And then you get equity in the deal, so you get continual income off of that. And then on the back end, when you sell it, you get to cash out as well. So that's the way I kind of compare it to a lease option.
Okay, 3 times. Yeah, that's there's a lot of value in that. So Lizzy, Chase, how do you guys crowdfund money and not run into issues with the SEC?
So Chase, this is a good question for you.
Oh, okay.
Well, he deals with all things. That's a hint.
So there's a couple different ways when raising money to do it legally. Obviously, we're actually selling securities. So we have to do it either a 506B, which is where we can take on up to 38 sophisticated investors, which are just people who understand investing and have the money to invest in the deal.
How do I get labeled a sophisticated investor?
You don't really get labeled a sophisticated investor.
Really, just anybody at that.
Yes, realistically, yes. So in a 506B, you can get up to 38 sophisticated investors, and then you can have as many as you want of accredited investors, which is just someone with $1 million in net worth outside of their personal residence, or a $200,000 annual income, or $300,000 annual income if they're married.
So why would the SEC get mad at you?
In a 506B, they would get upset if you were to advertise.
So what are people doing on social media and whatnot to not explicitly ask for money, but, get people to reach out to them?
So it's legal to post about what you're doing to get people to reach out when you're doing a 506B. But some people on social media, like Grant Cardone, Rod Cleef, those guys will actually advertise their deals in a 506C, where you can only have accredited investors, but you can advertise.
it seems like the SEC has kind of loosened up a little bit with, you know, the rules on that kind of stuff, and that's how we're getting like fundraising. Is that what it's called? What? You know what?
Yeah, you talking about crowdfunding stuff, platforms?
Yeah, or like REITs and stuff like that too. It feels like that's definitely a different way to invest that really didn't exist. Lizzy, why don't you tell us what you all did and went out to California and what you learned and who's training you and coaching you and why you invested in your business?
Yeah, so we, in January, Luke, Chase, and we all went out to LA to Rod Cleve's multifamily event. We had all, I guess, prior to going, signed up with Rod Cleve Lifetime Cash Flow Warriors. And it was a really good experience. So we got to meet, obviously, Rod and his team and learn more. And honestly, the biggest thing about going to those events is the networking. So that's how you meet your potential investors, whether they're going to be passive investor or LP or, you know, GP people to bring experience in on the deals. So that was probably the biggest takeaway from the event, was just the networking. And then obviously aligning ourselves with a coach. You know, he just brings knowledge and helps, I guess, push us there faster than I think we would have done outside of the program. I think just having that accountability is nice.
Make the jump. I mean, it was a financial decision to sign up for all that and to pay to go out to California. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they go to the edge, but they never jump in. What made you guys jump in?
Johnny Anton.
Yeah, he's good.
Johnny
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
What?
but
really just like understanding the value in it. I mean, we see spending the money now versus would we be buying apartments this year or would we be buying apartments 5-10 years from now?
Yeah, it was really you know, because we really wanted to get into the multi side.
Lizzy, you're cutting out. Luke, why don't you answer this one? Lizzy, you're frozen on my screen.
Oh no.
Oh, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, Luke. I figured
Okay.
this was the same problem.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I just want to change, man. I'm have a wholesaling business, right? So it's real transactional, probably similar to fix and flip people out there. Single family real estate, as far as buy and holds, never really sparked my interest too much, just because it's the difficult to scale it is, it's got a real high difficulty to scale it, because you have to have like, you know, a couple hundred transactions to, you know, get something that is crazy, right? But with multifamily, you can have 1 or 2 transactions, and then now you have the same amount of units bringing in cash. So that was kind of what sparked my interest on it. And then, of course, talking to Johnny Anton, you're not making a decision for yourself whenever you talk to him. It's all up to him. Let's be real.
Awesome. So, Dan Whitworth wants to know what was the cost of coaching? I'm sure they have multiple tiers and programs and whatnot, but what about the one you're doing?
Did we sign a non-disclosure? We might have signed a non-disclosure.
We did just.
I think we did.
I'm not sure on that, but let me just say, whatever it is well worth it. At this point in time, I would have paid upwards of $200,000 for it. Like, it literally, hands down. Seriously, I mean, I've got access to twice as much money as that, and even more, right? So it's like, it's a no freaking brainer, in my opinion, if you want to get into that.
So big time. Think they can't invest if they don't have that kind of money. Can you explain how you do invest with having that kind of money, or without having access to a ton of money personally?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, all right. So people say, oh, well, you know, I don't have $40,000. I can't afford a rental house that costs $40,000. Some people just think that, you know, there's not like creative ways to make things happen.
Well, there's definitely plenty of ways to come up with capital. I mean, I know on mine and Lizzy's first flip, we borrowed money for the full purchase price, and then we ended up spending like $6,000 on credit cards to do the rehab and then selling it. But I mean, obviously you could raise the rehab funds too, and then we paid the private money off at the sale of the deal. And you can do you don't have to have money to do anything. You just have to either find the deals or find the people that are doing the deals.
Yeah. There's a lot of options out there. I mean, we're all bombarded. I mean, there's fortune builders and all kinds of stuff, and a lot of it just seems like a money grab. What made this coaching program separate it from the other ones? Why did you choose this one ultimately?
Rod Cleef stuck out to me.
Yeah.
He's a killer.
Well, and he's very hands-on, which I think is nice when you're looking into a coaching program, is actually having the coach wanting to invest in you rather than just passing you off to other people. So he's someone who really cares about your success. And that's something I think that stuck out to all of us.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, yeah. And then tell me about the value in surrounding yourself with people that are doing similar things or thinking big and reading and listening to podcasts. What kind of value is that bringing to your all's life?
That's like crazy valuable. I don't know. It's just awesome. It's like, it brings a lot more energy to your life when you're surrounded with other people that are like doing big stuff. And then you realize maybe what you're doing, you can see more potential in yourself when you see other people that were in the same position you're in doing crazy things, just like fast and like changing the world and doing really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it took like so maybe I thought X was big, and I was like, holy cow, I'm never like, this is gonna be hard as crap to get, and I'm ready to go get it. Let's go. And going around and surrounding yourself with people that are just doing 10, 20, 30 times more like bigger stuff than you're doing, it just makes you realize like, holy cow, this guy did what I'm trying to do in 5-10 years. He did this in like 6 months. Like, holy crap, what's possible for me? You know, it's like, what, like I can totally do that too, right? There's nothing different than between me and that person other than the people he surrounds himself with and, you know, the thoughts that go through his head. I think that's a quote from Chase.
Yeah, I've heard that too. No, and that's one thing that I value about all of us is, you know, we walk our dogs together and everyone's talking about what they're reading. I'm like, man, if I don't have anything to say when we talk about what we're reading, I'm an idiot. So it makes me feel like I need to read and listen to podcasts and have something to bring to the table. I mean, we just did a great trip to Jackson Hole right before coronavirus really took. And, that was really great, and like it made me feel like, shoot, I need to step up my game. I'm thinking bigger. I think there was a lot of value in that.
Love that.
Except girls weren't allowed.
Oh yeah, the boys trip.
So I couldn't go.
Well, maybe next time. Who knows? Who knows what,
Lizzy, you're just thinking too big for all of us.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Chad got on late. Can you recommend who you guys are using again?
Rod Cleef.
Rod Cleef or Cleef.
Rod Cleef. Lifetime Cash Flow. Great podcast. He's awesome, dude.
So there's a lot of wholesalers in our market, or people that want to be wholesalers as well. And would you say that this is a natural progression from wholesaling, like, you know, more small scale, like quads, single families, whatnot, moving to syndicating?
Well, for me, wholesaling was like a means to an end. You know, it's like, I wanted that lifetime freedom to just go and do what I want. And to me, the only thing that I came up with was some serious cash flow. And the easiest way to scale that, in my opinion, was multifamily real estate. So, you know, the wholesaling was paying the bills and teaching me how to learn and negotiate and get out there and do things on my own. So, you know, with the knowledge I learned from that, applied that to something different, like syndicating multifamily, which is really, it's the same kind of transactions. It's just bigger numbers.
Yeah.
You notice you're having a harder time getting a hold of people due to most of the multifamily owners are more seasoned investors. Like, so everything's hidden behind trusts and LLCs and whatnot. Do you find it more difficult to get a hold of them relative to normal homeowners?
Yes, but we do dig deeper though on all of it. So I think we're talking to more people than other people that are not reaching out and digging through those type of things, because we definitely do.
That's great. There's the cool thing about the multifamily is there's just so many different ways to do value add.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? I was at the Bigger Pockets conference, and I'm blanking on his name, but he was just on that one guy. I'm blanking on his name too. Tyler Chesser's podcast.
Okay.
He talked about how he was noticing there were so many cars on his property that he limited it to 2, created a parking lot, fenced it in, and then charged people extra money to park on their parking lot. It cost them $2,000, but it raised the value of the property by $1 million with the cash flow. So there's just so many cool things to do. I've got a buddy who works for a commercial company in Indianapolis, and they have started their own trash company. And so they pay, a monthly cost to get the trash removed. They just put it in their hallway, but they're paying one guy an hourly wage, and so they're just bringing in $20 per unit per month. They're paying $20 one time for. It's pretty cool. And so, are you guys doing to open up your cap rates, or what are you guys doing with your properties?
You cut out for me on that.
Yeah, I think I would say it just really depends on the property. What kind of value can be added. It doesn't necessarily have to be just like putting something new in. If rents are low, we can apply that to, I guess make the rents higher. So then that value can be added, or, add an amenity like you were saying with like a parking lot or a laundry or something like that. I guess it really just depends on this certain, property that we're looking at.
How do people at this level protect themselves from losing their shirt? Right now you have people that are going to start, not being able to pay their mortgages, and it's a little bit bigger when it's $1 million property than just, a $40,000 house in Downs. How are you guys protecting yourself in that regard, or people in the industry do that?
You got it, Chase.
So a lot of times, like in the deals we're looking at, the majority in that price range, well, maybe not the majority, but are going to be non-recourse debt. So they're not going to be personally liable for that debt. But also right now, I know in our coaching program, when the deals they're looking at, they're underwriting at like 30 to 35% economic vacancy is where they want to be able to break even at, because of what's going on in the market now and what could happen with a recession.
Mm-hmm. So how are you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
Well, I was just going to add that my one-on-one coach,
is he cutting out for anybody else?
Yeah.
Like 600, and about like how is it affecting him?
We couldn't hear you, Luke.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to my one-on-one coach, and he was telling me that the banks were calling him, saying like, "Hey, yo, how's it going? Are the tenants paying on time? Like, do you need 3 months of no rent? Like, we'll just tack it on at the end of the mortgage. Like, I mean, they got a big loan, and it's a non-recourse loan, like Chase was talking about. And so they're not in the business to own properties. They want the cash flow from the money that they lend out, right? So from what I'm hearing, is they're working with the owners pretty much as much as possible to make it work somehow, shape, or form. So,
is there
I heard.
We have Dan Whitworth wanted to know, in addition, is there a typical syndication fee?
No,
yeah, 2%, but I see a lot of 2%, or hear a lot about 2%.
I've seen 2% a lot, but I also see like 2 to 5%, and I know, like what's his name, Smile, old guy. He's done about 30 syndications of really large deals, and he takes a 5% syndication fee every time.
Yeah,
which he's seasoned and always gives the returns he's given, and he's really smart, so he can do that. But I mean, yeah, maybe the average is 2, Luke.
I've just heard a lot with 2,
You guys aren't regulated as much as we are. We realtors, we do not have a, typical commission. Okay, Dan wants to know, Brandon, oh, shoot. Okay, so we were talking about coaching. We're going back to that question. Brandon Turner, Andrew Cushman, you guys syndicate deal, then do you manage the property or do you outsource the management?
Yeah. It really depends, right? So a lot of times, in my opinion, I don't think I've never personally done the management, but I like the idea a lot better than me managing it, bringing on like a general partner, someone who's active in the deal that is the managing member of the deal. Now, management is huge, right? Once you buy the deal and get paid, like that's the easy part. Now you got a whole lifetime of the deal of work and management. So in my opinion, that cut on that person who comes in as the manager, they're going to get a nice portion of it, but they're doing a lot of the heavy working, right? So.
Yeah, they're doing the majority of the day-to-day at that point.
Right.
So, Eric, I don't know if it's Shad Owens or Shadow. Eric wants to know what a typical investment amount is for a sophisticated investor.
I don't know if there is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not one, but most deals have like a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's 25,000, sometimes it's 50,000. Just depends on the deal.
Okay, Philip's asking, where and how are you getting non-recourse loans on multifamilies?
I'm answering another one. Woo!
Chase, you're all Lindy, man.
I know.
Yeah, you are.
Well, even local banks will do it at a certain price point, but usually agency debt and insurance companies offer non-recourse debt on bigger, more secure, less risky deals.
It's funny, we were talking, I was on Luke and Raphael call yesterday, and we were talking about how to find non-recourse because you're personally liable. And we're talking about switching things over to LLCs and whatnot. Let's see. Hey, Dan. So what's the natural progression? I mean, is it just more deal, or does it get bigger? Syndicated.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, all right, like, is there like, all right, once you hit a certain amount of ownership, etc., do you stop and, find something else to do, or do you guys just keep doing this forever?
I mean, I think we want to pick up as many units as possible. So I don't necessarily think, I guess at a point we may get to where we want to stop, but I don't see that happening in any time soon at all. I don't know about the boys, but.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So right now with, the uncertainty in the market, whatnot, are you seeing a drive and more properties that are becoming available, or do you think that's going to happen in a couple of months, or is it about the same?
I definitely think that sellers are getting scared just from what I've heard from reaching out to, brokers and things like that. They're definitely they're wanting to hold out on their properties. Mm-hmm. Now, given there are people that are still willing to sell, but I definitely think there's been a slow on both ends, buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a deal 2 weeks ago that fell apart because of the coronavirus, where I don't know if you guys have all seen this, but Republic Bank, they're not doing any commercial loans. Even if you had one in the pipeline, like it's just dead right now. Do you guys, I feel like that gives us more leverage to say, hey, you guys, right now with the way things are going, we're going to need seller financing, and it might be another way to get it. Or are you going to see more seller financing deals, you think?
Definitely going to be seeing some similar stuff to that. Some creative deals in general, right? Because there's people that are losing their stuff, and like if you can come in as the problem solver, you're going to win out 9 out of 10 times, because it's look, you have a lot of investors' money on the line right now, and maybe instead of them losing all of their money and hating you for the rest of their lives, maybe they only lose some of their money, and we can work something out to where everybody's potentially still in the deal and, make something worthwhile happen.
Yeah. So would you say that, like, in syndicating, you're basically just creating this network and the spider web, and that's the value that you bring to the picture, is just being able to get financing for deals and close?
Definitely. Yeah. Until you get to the point where you have enough units under your belt where you can become a partner on someone else's deal to kind of co-sign on a loan and sponsor them on the deal, or maybe even management experience, bring that part into the mix, or maybe underwriting the deal, trying to figure out if it even works and how the value add is going to happen.
Frank Miller, former KREIA president, has a question for you all. Are you guys going to mainly focus on this type of investing, or are you going to remain diverse in your portfolio and what you're planning on doing?
I guess I'll answer this question. Nobody else wants to.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely diverse. I mean, we're looking for on the multifamily side, bigger properties. So right now we're primarily focusing on 50 units or more, unless it's like a total slam dunk deal. Like, there's no way that we don't invest. But we still are all in on the single family side as well. So I guess in that way comes the diversity.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be so much opportunity coming up in the next couple of months. I don't see any reason to turn off the single family stuff, because we got a full pipeline. It's only getting fuller. So it's like, well, why would we turn this off? And then on the multifamily side of things, same difference. There's going to be so much opportunity that is, why would you go for anything small if you're looking to scale? It's kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan Gettelfinger was talking about, this is going to be the largest influx of money into our economy in a long time, and that there's going to be quite the distribution of wealth. Are you guys hearing anything from your coaches on how to take advantage of that?
Distribution of wealth? What do you mean by that?
Well, okay, so we have this new stimulus stuff coming in because a lot of people are losing their shirts. So a lot of people that don't usually have money are going to have money, and that, what was it? Was it Warren Buffett or someone? But they said if you gave everyone, you had 100 people and you gave everyone the same amount of money, eventually after like 10 years, the top 3 would own 90% of the wealth or something like that. So you got to think if money's hitting other people's pockets, it's going to end up in the people that are, on top making plays. Are you guys hearing anything from your coach on how to protect yourself, or what you guys should be doing, or what you're looking for? I mean, you're not going to see the immediate effects of people defaulting on their loans or anything like that early on, but do you have a database or a resource for finding the people that are struggling?
Same avenues as we do for single family. I think, if I understand your question, just look for distressed people or distressed properties, right? There's always some kind of situation where you can help. Do what, Chase?
And also, like, I mean, I reach out to 5 new lenders every day. So if I'm talking to this many banks and they're lending on commercial real estate, they're going to have loans out with people who bought when they shouldn't have bought, or bought at prices that they shouldn't have paid. So, like, if I'm building relationships with these different bankers as well, like, when this happens, if there's a bunch of people defaulting on their loans, we should be able to get them directly from the bank, have some opportunities that way as well.
Yeah. I got to run, but I wanted to bring up the property management companies too. I mean, they're seeing firsthand what's going on with the tenants. So, and they're going to be the people that want to, continue to manage the property, right? So if you align yourself with them, have good relationships, and you have the expectation that you're going to keep them as the manager, they're going to send you the deals first. Let's be real.
Yep.
100%. And that's a great, great.
Rob, thanks for having me on.
No, good luck on your call. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Luke.
Talk to y'all later.
Well, now that we dropped the dead weight, I say that all the time when my friends leave the room. I don't really mean it. Dane has a question. What value add and under market rent properties, or are you only targeting value add and under market rents only, or are you targeting other options? Let's start with that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, primarily, we're not looking for any A-class properties or D-class for that matter. I mean, we're just looking to add some value. So, I mean, I guess in a perfect world, we'd be looking for B or C-class properties in an A or B area, if that gives you any intel to that. So just really want to add some value to those properties.
Okay. And Dan also says, you have partners you work with out of state. Sorry. Let me just read the whole thing and then I'll ask the question. Okay, so you have partners that'll help you work deals out of state, or are you flying out and looking at properties directly?
So it depends. Like when you're syndicating, each deal is going to be a different structure with different partners, like every time. So if we have boots on the ground in a certain market, then I mean, preferably there's a GP living there. But if not, yeah, we would just fly out once an LOI would be accepted to look at it.
So what are your top resources for sourcing deals locally and out of state?
So right now we are, well, I guess Chase doing some cold calling. We have a team doing cold calling and acquisitions for that. But I also reach out to brokers, building those relationships, you know, for the off-market deals. The bigger deals that we're looking for are more so going to be with brokers, but off-market. So it's really just about building those relationships with the realtors and brokers.
How do you guys divide up your business as partners? Like, what are your roles between the two of you all?
Yeah, so Luke's also, we're now in a, I guess, a three-way partnership. So I am more of the relationship with broker relations. And then I also do the accounting, the branding. I don't know if I do anything else.
I do acquisitions and I do underwriting as well.
Dan wants to know what kind of contingencies go with your LOI.
So right now, COVID-19 contingencies, but usually just like a 30-day due diligence period for inspections and phase 1 environmentals and that kind of stuff. It's not much different than single family with like contingencies and stuff like that. There's just bigger inspections and environmental stuff.
What's one thing that you guys wish you knew a year ago that you know now?
To go straight into investing in multifamily. I think Chase and I both can agree on that.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people say that, like, you know, man, I spent so much time just doing one single family, one a year, and then it really. But I mean, you got to think you can pivot. You'll have so much equity in those single families, as you know, our market's been going up, at least locally. So I mean, if you can use that equity to put $200K down on like $1 million property, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a means to an end, which is kind of great.
For sure.
What kind of value have you got locally by networking and joining KREIA, going on dog walks and whatnot?
There's major value in dog walks, but it's networking is super important. Like now, I mean, we're surrounded by you and I mean, just a great group of people who love to add value to the community and answer a lot of questions for each other and are always looking to help. So you can always find all-stars around you that are going to be great to have as friends and business partners.
I especially value the group text when people have questions, people have answers, keep it humorous. I think that it's great to find your niche in your group. And I think find those people at KREIA and, you know, going to all the meetups. I don't know. I think there's a lot of value there. We're going to wrap it up. Do you guys have any parting notes you would like to leave everyone else? How do people reach out to you if they want to connect with you on a deal?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can leave our information. I mean, I guess in the notes, the chat, or.
You probably say it because when we put it on YouTube, it's only the video.
Oh, okay. Well, for those of you who don't know and can't see my name is Lizzy Neutz. And then my email, I'll make it pretty simple for you all. So it'll just be Lizzy, Lizzy, Neutz, Neutz @gmail.com.
Oh, perfect. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Now, Monday, we're supposed to be having a commercial lender and a residential lender kind of talking about what's going on, because that's the biggest changing thing right now. You're hearing a minimum. It used to be, you know, 580 to 620 for credit scores. I'm hearing as high as 680 to qualify for a loan, which is crazy. I mean, they're overwhelmed right now with refinances. Nobody knows what's going on. They don't have any debt in the secondary market. No one's able to buy anything. We were talking about that on the board meeting yesterday. I mean, it's really changing. So I think that'll be a ton of value. Wednesday next week's going to be a weird one. I'm bringing on you guys, everybody on the call. The idea is it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. I think it'd be great for people to come on and tell stories about, like Luke Neubauer has a great one. I hope he's going to be on about, maybe you shouldn't get things towed away from your property without permission or whatnot. I don't know. I've had some crazy stuff being a realtor. So it's going to be a lot of funny stories. I think it'll be a good way to connect, get to know each other a little bit better. Should be a real treat. Spoke to David Green last night. We're trying to bring David on. Problem is, I think we'll max out the 100 people really easily on this, and I don't want to leave anyone out. So I talked to John this morning. We're going to try to get the national KREIA account, which can give us 1,000 people on the call. Also, we had our board meeting yesterday. We are having a virtual meeting April 24th, I believe. It's going to be a real treat. I don't know. I'm pretty psyched. Everyone was just so positive on the call yesterday, and I think we're going to come out of all this just great. The people that are more educated, more connected are going to do better and take advantage of the market. Eric George said it's brave putting your phone number on YouTube. You should have put Chase's on.
I know. Maybe you can edit that out.
Lauren,
I saw that.
And let's thank Lauren as well, because Lauren does all the editing on all this stuff. She kills it. Don't edit that out, Lauren.
Do edit that out, Lauren.
no, edit her part out, but not the shout out to you, Lauren. Anyway. Okay, Eric's like, yeah, we'll edit that out for you. Anyway, thank you all again.
Thank you.
At noon on Monday. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Woo, see
Bye.
ya.
Thank you.